we ready? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Tell Mom podcast. Episode 100 and... It's our... Oh, shit. We just forgot. It just hit me right when I said that.
We were going to do something spectacular.
Like, you can see our faces of
Wait, we
shock
are doing something.
if you're watching. Yeah, we are. Like, what the hell? So, we were supposed to be somewhere on the green screen. We mentioned the beach. I was thinking Lake
we could be
Tahoe.
anywhere that we want
But
to be.
now it's our
now.
2-year anniversary.
We need fireworks, Cullen.
Fireworks. We got fireworks.
We need champagne bottles popping. Money.
Yes, strippers.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I can't believe we just totally forgot.
Yeah, it's spaced out. It's been a busy
That's crazy.
week.
It's been crazy this week.
Like, we couldn't even get started just now because I was too busy on my phone texting folks.
What the hell?
Hey.
First
First of all, hey y'all. This is the Don't Tell Mom podcast. I'm Britany, and this is my brother Cullen. This is the brother-sister duo that talk about anything and everything we want, and we've been doing this for 2 friggin' years now.
If this is your first time listening, then where have you been? You've got 2 years
late to the game
of footage you can go watch.
Right? You better start.
Belly laugh.
How many hours is that?
Golly, every one was about an hour.
52 hours. So 104 hours. That's how many episodes we're at.
About
104
that.
episodes.
Yeah.
About 104 hours.
Some were over an hour, some were less. About 45 minutes typically.
That's no big deal. I could binge that in a week.
Yeah.
I just binged the Ozarks and I literally just watched the entire like nothing else mattered. I wouldn't even know I had kids if I didn't have to like hear them.
What's that about? That's like a quarantine. That's come out during quarantine, hadn't it?
You have to binge the Ozarks. So after you're done binging, Don't Tell Mom podcast, then you can go binge the Ozarks.
What is it even about?
At first, it took me a really long time to get into it or to even start it because I didn't really like the guy that's in it. I don't know what his name is.
There's an Ozark, Alabama.
Is there?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Well, this is not that one. This is.
Oh, it's a crime?
Yes, it's just very intense, like a thriller.
Crime drama?
Yeah, but this guy, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
God, what's his name?
If you've seen the show, you know who I'm talking about. But there was just something about him I didn't like before the show. It's Marty Bird in the show.
Yeah.
Is his name.
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
That's why I never, watched it before. And I had people telling me for months now, oh, you gotta watch the show. It's so good. My mom even said.
I've always kind of liked Jason Bateman in some of his
I don't know why. It's just something about him.
He's like a business guy in some of the video movies.
Was he from The Office?
No. He's like
I don't like that show. Don't kill me.
Wasn't he like I don't know. He's been in some comedies too, I think.
I
don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
not that important. But anyway, that's why I hadn't watched it before, and I just started it, and literally started it like a couple days ago, and I'm already done with it. And it's 3 seasons.
A financial planner.
And I'm like, I just finished it. Yeah, it's so good. I just finished it last night. The 3 seasons or whatever. And oh my gosh, if y'all have seen it, the end of season 3, what the F?
So there's going to be another season?
Oh yeah, there's got to
be. So
a
money laundering scheme goes wrong, forcing him to pay off substantial debt to a Mexican drug lord in order to keep his family safe. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Alright, Butterfly. Hey guys.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Butterfly, it's squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. Go watch that. If you haven't seen it yet. What's going on, everybody? I hope that y'all are having a good week. I know there's been a lot of craziness happening in the whole world. This whole year has been mayhem. I know that the coronavirus numbers are up.
Going back up.
The riots and stuff, not riots, but the protests and stuff has still been happening. But things I think are going to change. I think things are happening because of that. Like, people are noticing.
Yes.
There's policy changing and all this, so it's been more peaceful this week, thank God. I saw a funny meme today, Cullen. It said, rioters, please, whatever you do, don't go burn the IRS building on 11 Washington Avenue. It was, I don't know what it really said, but it was something like that. It was like giving you the address of where the IRS building was. It was like, oh no, rioters, I hope they don't get this building with all the IRS money that we owe.
Hint, wink, wink. Yeah. Oh man!
But thankfully that's subsiding.
Yes, we've been swimming a lot. I don't feel like I think this morning was the first time I took a shower in 3 days because I've been in the chlorine.
I was wondering what that smell was.
So much, but yeah, we've been swimming a lot. Kids have been just getting zonked out. Yeah. One of the pool we're going to now has courtesy break every hour.
For the adults to get
For
in.
the adults. But it's also great because in the past several years, we've been to just pools like in the neighborhood pool or the country club pool that doesn't do courtesy breaks or anything. This is like a community pool, and so they do courtesy break for 10 minutes, and so it's awesome because it sets that boundary or that regulation, and so
good for the kids.
We can blame it on the courtesy break when it's time to get out, or when it's time to get ice cream, or when it's time to leave, versus like we being the bad. It's always a fight. Like so now it's like
I don't want to get out of the pool.
Courtesy break, or can we have ice cream? We'll wait till the next courtesy break or the next pool break or whatever. So it's been interesting. But last week somebody threw up in the pool and we got the email and we were going to wait until right after naps and go and just spend the rest of the afternoon
at the pool. Somebody ruined it. They went swimming after lunch. They didn't wait to digest their food.
Yeah, and so we had pizzas in the oven. I had them cut up and put in tin foil. We were like going to take our dinner up there. Watermelon sliced up, everything, chicken nuggets, all the dips, everything ready to go.
Yeah.
Bathing suits on. We're just going to get the kids on, their suits on, and dip, and then got the email. We're like, no. So we ended up going to Oak Mountain, which was like
the best
$10 gig. So yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Swimming, you can actually pee in that water. So
it's a lake.
It's a
no
lake.
One cares. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Brooks, you can go pee in this water. He said, oh really? And just stands up, whips it out, and I'm like, no, I don't mean like pee in the water like that. I mean pee in your bathing suit underwater.
Don't teach your child that.
He stood up and just whipped it out in front of everybody.
Oh, bless his heart.
But he didn't understand.
But Dad, you said.
Look at that screenshot that just popped up on my.
Yeah. Speaking of kids, mine have been here for the last couple hours. I actually snuck in. We're at Cullen's house in our other studio.
The dungeon, yeah.
Yeah, and the kids have been here with you. I brought both my girls over this morning because I had a doctor's appointment, which is why if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I have my armbands on. Looks like I was at the club last night.
Oh.
But I wasn't. I was just at the doctor's office, and unfortunately, it was the same. It was at the same hospital that I just had the worst experience ever giving birth. But
anyway, so tell me this story.
So
you got a vlog about the actual birth.
I did do a vlog about I did a vlog about the birth, and then I did another vlog on my channel about the nightmare of the hospital. Since then, I've gotten all these people telling me that I need to file a grievance and that's not okay. After explaining what all happened. I've had several nurses come on and comment and be like, no, this is not okay. This is what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. So I have actually filed a grievance against them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
Check.
See, I would just feel like that's just too much work. Yeah, just got a newborn baby.
I'm not the kind of person that leaves a review or anything. I don't take the time to do all that stuff. I can't even answer comments. I mean, that's how bad I am about stuff like that. But yeah, it just really pisses me off every time I think about it. It was just such a bad experience. Yeah. The main things, if y'all hadn't watched my vlog, the main things that happened were no toilet paper for 30 hours, spoiled milk, chunky milk for breakfast.
I remember you telling me about that.
And then blood on my baby's burp cloth.
What? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. They brought me my baby in from a bath with fresh linens, and there was a stack of fresh burp cloths. And I go to wipe her face with one of them. I go to pull it out, go to wipe her face, and I look at it thankfully before I touched her face with it, and there was somebody's blood on it.
Like a stain,
there's
fresh?
There's drop of blood on the spit cloth that I'm supposed to wipe my baby's face with. And I ran out in the hall of the hospital, and I'm right in front. My room was right in front of where the nurses sit. And I was like, this is not my blood or my baby's blood on this cloth that you've given me to wipe my baby's face with. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm exhausted. And this is the mess I'm dealing with. So
Holy cow.
I was really pissed. But, those things are not okay, right? What if there was a disease in the blood on the... You know what I mean?
Especially
that was
the
straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
It was really bad. So...
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
dirty.
Scary.
Couldn't get toilet paper for 30 hours, Cullen. My husband could not use the bathroom. And we're quarantining pretty much in this room. They won't let us leave.
I was wondering, was that due to what was their reason for not having toilet paper?
Well, there was like toilet paper in the thing, but it was inaccessible, and we called literally 15 times before they brought us.
Oh, it was like locked in the room, like locked under the bathroom thing.
Yeah, I had to go without pads, and I'm bleeding. I mean,
my gosh!
You know, you have a wife who's had babies. You know, it's not pretty afterwards, and I had to like sit there and hold my bladder because they wouldn't bring me pads and the stuff that I needed to change out my pads and all that.
So what goes behind filing a grievance? Like,
I called and
were you that detailed with all this?
They actually sent me like I said, I'm not the kind of person that ever writes a review or anything like that. I skip that part.
They're like, here, you can have a free hospital stay.
Well, they send us a survey.
Stay there.
Yeah, right. They send me a survey, and Corey was like, "Oh, babe, I got some good news. You're gonna want to fill this one out," and like handed me the survey. Jesus. And I really didn't. I didn't even fill it out. I was just like, "Oh, I'm done with them. Like I've literally written them off in my head, and that was it." Well, then I did the video and rant and raved about it and how terrible the hospital experience was, and everybody literally, Cullen, I have hundreds of comments from people that are like, "Unacceptable. Don't you settle for that. You need to talk to the CEO of the hospital. Like, talk to the grievance." They said, go to the news. Like, all these things, which, you know, I kind of did. I mean, I've got like 20,000 views on that hospital nightmare video.
That's
so
crazy.
Well, and some people know, they don't go to Grandview.
They tried to bring you, like, this was the same place I went to get my cellulitis taken care of.
Yeah.
And we talked about this off camera, but I don't even know if I mentioned it when everything was happening during the whole process. But they were trying to bring me medication to stuff I wasn't even prescribed to. Like, I just remember they were just like, here's some Percocet, or, you know, they didn't even ask, like, if I had any allergic reaction to it.
They were trying to push Percocets on me, too, and I was like, can I start with the Motrin? Like, I don't want to get a drug problem along with the rotten milk.
Right.
And you know.
Well, and we've talked about how I've got ADHD, and I take medication for that, but, I mean, luckily Katie was in there, and she was like, because I was half asleep, and you know, just
she's like, no, you're not supposed to be
Katie's like, wait a minute, what are they trying to give you? Like, they're just came in and set these two little things, and they're like, here's your medication that you
eat up.
I was like, what? One, I don't want to take that right now. I don't want to be all. It was like instant release Adderall versus the time release stuff I take. It's like totally different stuff. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, not totally different, but
yeah, they just did it.
Crazy. I'm gonna be up here.
It was bad, y'all. It was bad. We don't like them. You thought I was still at Brookwood. I had Sophia at a different hospital, so you thought I was still at Brookwood to have this baby because he wasn't allowed up there this time. So like, it was just Corey. None of my family. Like, so he just assumed that I was at Brookwood again, but I switched hospital. Big mistake. Big mistake.
I've heard bad things about it since my experience there. When everybody's like, "Oh gosh," and we've had family that's gone up there since then. Since I had cellulitis, that golly, well, I can't remember what happened. Aunt Tricia, who was on Katie's side, was in there for like a month and like doing horrible and kept getting worse. And then we were like, where is she? It sounds like she might be at Grandview. And then sure enough,
she was at Grandview.
I was like, whoa, this is weird.
Well, you go on to find you go on to find like these specialists and stuff, and you know, you look for the ones that are close to your house, and then you know, that's always the one that pops up. Mm-hmm. If I'm like, look for, like today, I was looking for a neurologist, and I was like, neurologist near me, and popped up Grandview. And so you just think, okay, well, let's start going through these, and you look at their education, you do a little research on the doctor, they look good, okay, cool, let's call them. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't think, okay, this could be life-ending. Life-ending doctor visit. Right. But anyway, so
today, what?
So today, unfortunately, before I knew that this place was a nightmare, and before I had the baby, while I was pregnant with Sophia, I went to go see another doctor in the same building. That's also at Grandview, and so I already had a doctor's appointment set up to see him again, and the reason for that is because I have like severe acid reflux, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with me. So this morning, this is what I literally just came from. This is why Cullen is watching my kids, which is why we're talking about it, but Cullen and Katie are watching the girls because I went and had a barium breakfast. Yum.
Is that like I
couldn't eat or drink anything this morning. I couldn't have coffee or anything. And I had to go, and you have to drink this barium stuff, which is Cullen is so gross.
Does it like make your insides light up and stuff?
Yeah, it makes your insides light up. And then they put me on, like, I'm standing up in this thing. And so, because I'm so weary of this hospital, and all these people now. I literally have the entire doctor visit on record.
Oh, good.
I'm videotaping it through my purse. Like, you can't see, but you
Yeah.
can hear everything. Because I didn't want to, like, just be holding the video camera up. They'd probably kick me out. But I sure as hell clicked record and then threw it in my purse and just
and I bet
in
everything
case.
went fine.
Everything's fine. There's probably a note because the lady that I talked to when I was checking in, she was like extra nice. There's probably like a big note next to my name.
Yeah.
This like grievance open.
They've got you flagged.
They've got me flagged, I'm sure. So they were being extra nice to me. But I told this doctor too. I said, "This is a horrible experience. Is this an outpatient thing? Are we gonna do it here in your office? Because this just happens to be where this doctor works. Is at this hospital.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not the fact that the doctor sucks. It's the fact that the hospital that he was working at sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I already had this appointment, and it's like traumatizing even going into, like, pulling into the parking lot. I'm just like, oh my God, what if it happens again? But anyway, I kept my appointment. I went to go see him, and I had to do the test where I'm standing on the thing, and they're taking pictures of my inside as I'm drinking the barium, and then they're like, okay, hang on right here. I'm standing up, like, on this little platform in this thing, you know, like an X-ray machine kind of thing.
Oh, shit.
And there's like a handlebar, and I'm holding onto the handlebar, or she says, hold onto the handlebar, and then all of a sudden this thing starts moving, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know it was gonna start moving, and so I'm holding on, and it like lays me down, and the lady comes over and puts a pillow behind me, and then they take some more pictures, and
You should just let go and be like, oh, my back!
well, I haven't because I'm videotaping it for, insurance purposes. Because I'm videotaping, like, I have proof now for, like, my husband and anybody that ever wants to say I'm just whining and complaining to eat a Tums, that this lady's like, you have some of the most severe acid reflux. Like,
really?
Reflux is so bad. I didn't even have to keep drinking. Like, usually I would have had to keep drinking the barium a couple more times. She was like, you don't even have to drink anymore. This is so bad. She was like, then I was supposed to take some pill or whatever. Anyway, I didn't have to do any of that. She was like, nope, I don't even need to see it anymore. Because, like,
You were done
it's
after
so
that.
bad. Yeah, she's like, this is some of the worst acid reflux.
You just took some Tums before we started.
I put them in my pocket just in case. Because I get, like, panicky if I don't have Tums. It's so bad. So, anyway, I went and talked to them, and that's where I've been this morning, is at the hellhole hospital, but with a good doctor. I guess he's a good doctor. And hopefully, I'm going to have surgery.
Really?
Yeah, I
Get that?
I don't think I'm going to do it there, though. Because he was like, you'll have to stay in the hospital
gosh.
for one night. And I was like, no.
I was just looking up some reviews when you were talking about it all, and 8 months ago, there's one that says, every time I've been to this hospital, I've had the worst treatment. I genuinely feel traumatized from my past experience when I go back. Just like you just said. The doctors in the physician's plaza were perfectly fine, but when I go into the ER, do not go to the ER.
Yes.
I had high hopes since I was recent experience at UAB, which is another hospital locally.
UAB is awesome.
I could have died in this ER if I had been having a heart attack. 2 hours to leave in the waiting room. Then they did not draw blood to begin with. It was disappointing.
It's true what that girl said, though. It's like there's a physician's plaza, which is where you go see the doctors, and then there's the hospital. And, like, for me, all I've ever been to is the physician side. So everything's always been fine. You go in, it's a normal doctor's office, whatever. It's the hospital side that was, like, traumatizing.
I remember now, thinking about it, the more looking back on it, we went to the ER because my face started blowing up like a balloon.
I remember that. I came to visit you, and you were effed up.
Yeah, there were some
somebody else's medicine.
Well, this was this was the first night, or we go in, and I'm sitting there, and Katie's filling out all the papers for me because I was like, I can't even sit, my whole eyes swollen shut. But there were like 5 or 6 other people in there, and I still had to wait like an hour, and my face just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I finally, Katie walked up to somebody and was like, how much longer is this going to be? Because look, just from the time we took a before picture, like as we pulled into the parking lot, and then sitting in the waiting room, I was like, look at the difference here in my
like Will
face.
Smith and that hitch.
And then then they took me back. But I mean, I could have been sitting there, and that's cellulitis in my face that could have like gone to my brain supposedly.
Killed you.
So they after that they saw the difference. They were like, okay, well, let's get you back here. But yeah, so the reviews are pretty bad on here, but there's also some good ones.
Hopefully something happens. Hopefully I'll get a free baby out of the deal. That's the only thing that's going to make me forgive any of them. for it.
Oh yeah, and they'll cover
But,
your.
No, I mean I don't care. Like
I was like, they're not gonna give you a baby.
I mean, I'm talking about the hospital stay. Like, I'm not paying for a single meal. I want an itemized receipt of this hospital stay when we do get our bill in the mail, and I want to see exactly what I'm being charged for. And if it's not pushing the baby out or the epidural, then I ain't paying for it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's the food. No, F your food and your chunky, rotten-ass meal. Y'all trying to serve me rotten food. Yeah. And then we can't leave. Colin, I could literally go on the entire podcast about how terrible this is.
Oh, yeah, and then you can't leave because of quarantine and all that. Jeez.
But hopefully, I don't know, we'll figure it out if I'm going to be able to get the surgery done, and hopefully that'll happen in the next couple months, and I can start sleeping laying down instead of sitting up. Because we have to sleep sitting up. It's so bad.
That's
Poor
crazy.
Corey. He's a trooper. My husband is like, he's got back problems now because of me. He's always like, it's probably not that bad. No, I have it on tape now of this doctor saying that it's like the worst they've ever seen. So,
really?
Told you.
Dang, that's crazy.
I may be whiny, but...
No, I mean, you're usually not. Like, I'm usually, like, benefit of the doubt type of person, too. Yeah. I mean, I don't like confrontation. I mean...
It's not that bad.
Yeah. It just depends. There are times when I'm like, no, F that.
We'll see.
And when my blood gets boiling, I'm like, ooh,
Well, y'all tell us. Leave it in the comments. Tell me if you think that if I should just go through with the doctor I've been seeing for the acid reflux, even though it's at this terrible hospital, or if I should just say scrap, nope, get my records and go on down to UAB or somewhere else.
I would probably go.
Let me know y'all's opinion if y'all think I should risk it for the biscuit.
I mean, if they'll prorate you I don't know. Then you're like, I don't even want to deal with it. What if you get chunky milk again?
What if while I'm under, because I'd have to go under, what if while I'm under, they, just off me? So they don't have to deal with me and my grievances and my...
Oh, jeez. That's scary to even think about, too.
God, it's so scary.
Yeah, don't go back to them. That's my vote. I don't know.
You say no. What do y'all think? Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think.
Oh, man. In other news, I don't know if we are even... I mean, does it matter? Can we talk about our sisters?
Yeah, I don't care.
We've talked about Rachel.
If she's mad at us, sorry.
Well, I mean, we're not going to, talk bad about her. We're just going to give her an update on everything, I guess.
Yeah, have you talked about it on your blog? Our sister is sick. Something's wrong with her.
Well, we haven't even talked about how she is a wanderlust. You are, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, y'all both are. Yeah. Just wanted to explore the whole world. And I
don't see how you could not be like that, though.
If you don't have kids,
you've been overseas before to Paris, right?
Yeah, I've been over for Paris for work, though.
For work,
I mean, it wasn't but I mean, if you got a wife and kids and stuff like that, or
the first time me and Annie ever went overseas, and we both like to travel a lot, more so than you, I guess. But you like your little comfortable, know where you're at, right? Well, me and Annie, the first time we ever traveled overseas, I bought the tickets to Ireland, and then. Literally just told Annie, she didn't even know where we were going. I was like, okay, don't worry, I got this whole thing planned out, don't worry about it, I've got it covered. All you gotta do is, I bought you a plane ticket, you just gotta be at the airport and get on that plane.
Dang.
That's what happened.
See, I'm like, where are we going?
We're like 20 something.
Everything.
Yeah, early 20s.
Yeah.
Annie was like, all right, I'm down. And so, and so Annie's the kind of person that she likes to plan stuff and have an itinerary.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
the most part.
Exactly.
She's become less like that. But she used to be very, I want to know exactly what's going on, where we're going, blah, blah. Well, me, I'm not like that. I like to wing it, right? So I literally bought a ticket. We went over for 3 weeks. I bought a one-way ticket from, Annie was living in Pennsylvania, so I got her a ticket from somewhere up there. I think it was New Jersey. I don't know. Anyway, I said, be at the airport, get on the plane. So she did. The plane left, and I came from Alabama, and we went to Ireland. We met in Dublin.
Wait, so y'all didn't even... Oh.
We didn't even meet beforehand. We just met in Dublin.
Y'all just met in the Dublin airport.
Yeah, I got her ticket. It was like, just get on the plane. And I didn't tell her anything else, but she thought, for some reason, she thought that I had this whole thing planned out. I said, we're going to be gone for 3 weeks. And so... she said, what do I need to pack? Hot stuff, cold stuff? Are we packing for winter? Are we packing for summer? And I was like, a little of both.
She gets to the airport and it's you get your ticket.
Yeah, so I meet her in Dublin.
She knows at that point.
And Andy has a bag that the wheels broke off.
No.
So the first stretch isn't that great for Annie. And so I'm like, hey! And she's like, all right, what's the plan? And I'm like, we're here. And she's like, no, Brittany, what's the plan? Like, what are we doing after this? And I'm like, well, I don't know.
Where's a pub?
We got 3 weeks. And so the plan was we were just going to go from Dublin to wherever else. We ended up going to Paris. We went to France for a little while. We went to Spain, to Barcelona. And then we went back to Ireland and then flew home. But we literally got all of our tickets for all those things while we were there. I literally did not have an itinerary at all. I had one night in a hotel. And we ended up getting in a fight that night. And then I left the hotel and was like, get out of my country. Ireland's mine now and you're out. And so we ended up...
Where did you stay?
Well, we got into... I got us one night in a hotel for the first night that we got there so we could, figure out what we were going to do. I thought that was the plan. That was a good plan. And so we had a place to stay that first night, and we get there, and these rooms, they don't look like the pictures, Cullen. They're tiny. And they're you're right up on each other. And so we were already, traveling 16 hours to go over there. Man. And then we both have way too much luggage. Because we packed for both winter and summer, So we've got all these bags, and it's just, there's no room for the two of us. Well, we go out drinking, and I had met my new best friends, and, I get real social, so I made all these new friends. We get back, and I want to go out and, keep doing, I don't know. Anyway, me and Annie got in a big fight, and I was like, F you, I'm leaving, you better get out of my country, or whatever. And I left the hotel room and just got another room in the same hotel, luckily. But I, went to another room. So we didn't even stay in the same hotel room the first night we're overseas. Anyway, that's our first trip story. It was great. The trip was actually great. The next morning we made up. She called me and was like, hey, I'm down at the store. You want a sandwich? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, yes, please help me. But, so anyway, we had a blast. It was a great time. Annie had wanted to go back and she wanted to do, I've been to Asian countries. She's never been. I don't think she's been back overseas since then. And that was, 8 or 9 years ago. So this year she wanted to go to Cambodia, and she was like, she's kind of going to do it like we did, where she's going to get over there and then she's going to go from there. So she went to Cambodia, she went to Vietnam. She had plans to go to Nepal and Thailand. Well, find time to travel, Annie. Hello, this was before, coronavirus.
Yeah, this was before Corona kicked in.
She leaves right before coronavirus happens. So now she's stuck. So she's in Cambodia, and they start hearing about the coronavirus. Nothing's shut down yet. Annie doesn't think it's that big of a deal. No one really knew what to think about it.
No.
There was no cases in Cambodia. They probably didn't test very many people.
Yeah.
But Annie was like, we don't have that here. That's in China,
It didn't even cross my mind. I was like, no. We got to worry about it here in China. And
it's way over there. No big deal. So... so she didn't, come home. She was still doing her thing. And then all of a sudden, everything's getting shut down. And she can't get back into the country, even if she could get a flight out. I mean, it extended her time to be overseas from, a couple months to several months. She was going to go for a couple months. But when she wanted to come home, she couldn't. Because coronavirus happened.
And not to mention, she can't go anywhere else that she went, Thailand and
she can't go to any of the fun places or continue on with her trip as planned.
She was stuck.
She's stuck like Chuck. I said, find time to travel, Annie. But anyway, so she had been over there and she's just kind of waiting it out, wait until flights start happening again, and until the United States will let you in again, and not knowing if she's gonna have to quarantine or whatever. Anyway, she's overseas. She's stuck. Well, then a couple weeks ago. She started having some pain in her legs and her feet and her hands. And it's just gotten worse. And it feels like her feet are, it's when your foot's asleep? Mm-hmm. It feels like that, but it's all over her, it's all the way up her legs.
Guys, when you take a massive shit for 30 minutes and you stand up?
And your legs are asleep?
That's how I compare it.
Yeah, take that feeling, though, the pins and needles feeling, the prickly feeling.
Oh, gosh.
And multiply it by 1 million. Right? It's very painful, right? And it's just getting worse. Well, so she has travel insurance and all that stuff. She goes to the hospital there. Oh, no, this is what happened. She broke her ankle.
She stood up. That's why she went to the hospital,
yeah. Because she was tingling, and she was like, maybe it's a nerve thing. She doesn't know what it is, but, who wants to go to the hospital in Cambodia, right? Well...
You have to drink out of water bottles anywhere.
Yeah, you gotta brush your teeth with water bottles and pay for toilet paper.
You don't drink the tap water there.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different country, right? And so anyway, she goes to stand up one day and falls, and she twists her ankle and ends up breaking her ankle or fracturing it, where she has to have like a pin and some screws put in. So she goes to the doctor for them to fit. She has to go to the hospital when she breaks her ankle. They put a cast or they do the surgery. So now she has to have surgery in Cambodia, which is so scary.
Golly.
But they put the
Wasn't there talk about like airlifting her to a specialist or something?
Yeah, there was. They didn't know.
They didn't know.
Well, the thing is that what started it was her busting her ankle. But then when she got there, they were like, "Well, why did you bust your ankle?" And she says, "Because I can't feel my legs. Like my hands and legs are asleep." And they're like, "Well, something's going on." So they start running all these tests on her. They do like a spinal tap. They do all these tests. Cannot figure out for the life of them what's wrong with her. And this is like the biggest. She's already been transported now from the hospital she went to like the biggest, nicest hospital in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. That's like the most westernized. It's the most like American hospital.
Phnom Penh. It's like Grandview, essentially, where you were.
yeah, exactly. They're like like this. So she goes and they run all these tests. Can't figure out what's wrong with her. Now they've kept her in the hospital for over 3 weeks. She's been in there almost a month. And now you can fly home. And so we had to figure out what to do. We didn't know if she was going to get a fit to fly. It was a scary time, but we finally got Annie
Still
home.
not sure what's wrong with her.
We had to call the embassy. We had to figure out what are we gonna do? We got to get her home, because a lot of times she would book a flight and then would get canceled. So we ended up calling the embassy and having them intervene and say what flight is actually going to leave there and get here, because we need to get her home before this gets worse and figure out what's wrong with her. They obviously can't figure out what's wrong with her, so we need to bring her to our hospital here, figure it out. So she's been home for over a week now.
Granbury was a nervous wreck. Could you imagine your daughter being stuck overseas in the hospital for 3 weeks? And
yeah, it's been scary.
On top of COVID going around and all that stuff. So she's been home for a week now?
Yeah, she's been home a little over a week, and it's getting worse. And so we're trying to get her into the doctor. We call today. We take her to the doctor. He's like, I don't know what this is. I've got to send you to a specialist, which is like polyneuropathy or a neurologist. I don't know if y'all are neurologists.
I wonder if it's
listening to us. Please DM us.
Something back related, like sending nerve.
Well, they've tested her for a bunch of stuff.
They did a spinal. You say
Yeah. So and a lot of things are going. Now I don't know if that's their tests over there. I'm sure they're going to want to rerun.
Right.
Here. But
leave a comment. I want to know what the comments say about this.
If you're, I know I have a lot of nurses that watch me. So if y'all are watching and you're, in that field,
so describe the symptoms again. Just numbness.
It's like you're numb all the way from your feet all the way up to her rib cage. And it started with just her feet and legs, and then now it's moved up to her belly, and now her hands too. And so she can't really walk, and she can walk a little bit, but it's like walking on really, really asleep feet, so it's dangerous to walk on it. But it's not getting better, and so we're concerned. We've talked to the doctor, and they've said, okay, you need to go see the specialist. Well, so the specialist calls us this morning and says, oh, we have an appointment for you, but it's September 10th.
Whoa.
September 10th. This is the first appointment we can get is in September. I said, not acceptable. So we started calling other ones that the doctor didn't refer. And I'm talking to my girlfriend that works at one of the hospitals, trying to find somebody to help us get in. And I think I might have an appointment tomorrow. I'm going to call her when I leave, but hopefully I'll have an appointment at St. Vincent's tomorrow to see a neurologist. And so hopefully they can tell her what's wrong. And then we need House. Y'all ever watch that show?
Yeah.
I need House on
Dad used to love that guy.
I love that show, but no one can figure it out. And I need somebody that's just really smart.
Wasn't there some blood clot scares too?
Yeah, so she had a blood clot.
She's got to stand up and stuff.
That's why we thought she couldn't fly home.
Because the pressure and flying in general and sitting for so long. How long of a flight is that?
26 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So from the time that she left Cambodia to the time that she got to here, to Birmingham, was 26 or 30, maybe it was 30 hours.
Oh.
But it was rough. And she had to wear these compression socks because of the clot. And y'all, this is my sister. She's 35 years old. She's a year older than me. She's between us. That's our middle sister. And she's, before this, seemingly healthy. Like, healthy enough to go hiking through Cambodia and like the
I'm like, did Vietnam. She eat a bat or something?
Well, they thought she had salmonella, and maybe that was causing it. And yes, she did have salmonella over there.
They tested her for that?
And she did have that, but that's not what's causing it. She's been cleared. Like, she's already been cleared.
There's got to be some nerve damage somewhere. Something pinching a nerve or pushing on a nerve. That's
I'm going to be a doctor by the time I get done
creating this.
Because I've been like researching all of it, and
that's crazy.
I'm like, you just sat on the toilet too long.
yeah.
You'll be fine.
You just took a shit for 45 minutes.
Yeah, so we don't know. It's been a lot of doctors in our family for the last couple of days anyway. So
Katie's dad, he
just had surgery.
He just had surgery this morning. I don't know if they're going public about it or not, but he's back home now. He's fine. Everything's good, but he's had a case of drop foot, and I jokingly said the other day, what if when they take this nerve out behind his knee or this cyst out, he got all the MRI tests and everything run.
Which he's a doctor, so he's probably got the hook.
Yeah, he had all his buddies look at everything.
Right, that's
the only thing they found was a little cyst behind his kneecap that may have been pushing on a nerve that may be causing the drop foot, which I had never heard before this of drop foot, but since I mentioned it, we were hanging out with a buddy of mine from high school, Drew and Heather. Mm-hmm. Her dad just had it recently, and I said,
where your foot's asleep.
Drop foot, and they were like, what? My dad just had surgery for that? And I was like, I've never heard of this before. And then 3 other people I've talked to have been like, oh yeah, my mom had her son, it's just like, what? So anyway,
I never heard of it.
I jokingly said, like, what if, because it just literally, your foot just kind of hangs like this, and you can't feel it. And so imagine trying to walk on a numb foot. One of them is just ready to go, but the other one you're having to like pick up and move.
It's
dangerous. One wrong step, you're having to use your brain a lot more than you've ever, you've walked normally your whole life, and so you're just sitting there just normally walking, but then if you forget about the next step, you could end up falling, breaking your hip, or not to mention your brain is just like, mentally,
like you can't
constant.
Just get up and go.
Yeah, you can't just get up and go, put one foot in front of the other type scenario. But I said, what if when they take this cyst out, it's going to have the opposite effect? And instead of it just being numb, he's just going to be walking around just kicking. So I'm like, what if Annie, they found out what it is and she has to have surgery for a cyst? She's just going to be walking around doing the floss all day.
I wonder if it's the same thing. It's like drop foot, but for her whole body.
Right. Or like, what is another term? I guess the multiple sclerosis or MS, is that like a... That's more of a overall...
Yeah, like, I don't know if it's that or not. I don't know if she's been tested for that yet or not, but hopefully that's not it. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, she's 36. 35, almost 36,
I don't even know how old I am. I have to, ask other
people. I'm
like
37,
I mean, she's going to be fine. It's just, we're not waiting until September.
I'm just glad she's back home, made it safely back home. That was just crazy getting all the updates about it.
For her to go through this overseas without any of us, because she went over there traveling by herself. She has friends that she's met along the way, but she's not over there with any of us. No family or friends that are, from here. So, it was scary. It's still scary. Y'all please pray for us. And
let us know if you've had any family members with the drop foot or the numbing. And see what we can come up with collectively as a group. So, I need
a neurologist, so y'all get on it.
Crazy thing. And then you're asked with reflux. And
I know. So, we're just trying to stay healthy over here. And
I think I've got a torn rotator cuff. I can't sleep on it at night.
See, he's next.
I'm getting old.
We're getting tore up.
I need to go get an anti-inflammatory prescription or something. I'm serious. I don't know what it is. I was talking to my brother-in-law about it yesterday. But anyway.
We got all kinds of problems around here, y'all. 2 years and we're wore out.
2 years of this podcasting and we're about out of here. I bet the background of this was like a hospital the whole time.
That'd be funny. Wheel me in. Hey, thanks you guys so much for listening to us and just listening to us talk about our bullshit for the last 2 years. It's been awesome.
Crazy.
I wish we had done something.
I didn't even literally when I said.
We're going to have to pop some bottles behind the scenes.
Yeah, or on the scenes next podcast. We'll do a late night podcast or something. And
That's right.
celebrate. Cause,
right? Father's Day's coming up.
Oh, yeah, Father's
4th of
Day.
July's
Father's
after
Day,
that.
yeah. Oh, man.
We got things to do.
This was just spur of the moment, like you coming to get your kids after your doctor's
So
appointment.
let's go ahead and pot it up.
Didn't even think about it. I should have had freaking the champagne down here.
It's alright. We'll find a plane to jump out of or do something fun next time. Now that I'm not pregnant, I can actually do stuff like that. So I'd be totally down to go like hang gliding again or something.
F that.
I've done all of it.
Good Lord.
Let us know. Leave it in the comments what y'all think we should do to celebrate.
We might be on a plane to Ireland next week.
Let's go, baby. I got the itinerary.
Yeah, give us 5 stars on that iTunes or wherever you're listening. Give us a good review and check out the merch and hit that like button on YouTube if you're watching. And subscribe if you're new. Yeah.
Word.
We'll see y'all in the next one.
Next one.
Don't tell mom.
Peace.
Peace.